Hey, welcome. Today we are diving deep into something absolutely fundamental, the two basic blueprints that every single living thing on Earth is built from. You, me, the plants outside, the bacteria you can't even see, it all comes down to two designs. Let's get into it.
So, let's just start with a kind of weird question. Think about yourself, and then think about the trillions of tiny bacteria living on your skin right this second. What on earth could you two possibly have in common? The answer? You're both made of cells. It's the one thing all life shares. But here's the really wild part. In the nearly 4 billion years that life has been around, it has only ever come up with just two, basic designs for a cell.
So here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with those two big blueprints for life. Then we'll look at the original model, the OGs of life, the prokaryotes. After that, we'll check out the revolutionary upgrade, eukaryotes. We're also going to get into why size is such a big deal. And finally, we'll put it all together. Bacteria versus, well, you.
And look, this isn't some small technical difference we're talking about. This is the great divide in the entire story of life. Every living thing, from a massive redwood tree to a microscopic bug living in a volcano, falls into one of these two camps.
So just to make sure we're on the same page, what even is a cell? Well, the word comes from the Latin for small room. A guy named Robert Hooke came up with it way back in 1665 when he was looking at a piece of cork under a microscope. And that's what it is. The tiny room, the basic building block of all life.
And you know what's cool? The names themselves basically give you a cheat sheet to the biggest difference. Prokaryote, that means before the nucleus, and eukaryote means true nucleus. So right there in the name, it tells you it's all about the nucleus. That one feature is the absolute game changer.
All right, let's meet the original model. Prokaryotes were the first type of life on this planet, and they've been running the show for billions of years. Don't think of them as primitive. Think of them as perfectly streamlined, super efficient survival machines.
The best way to think about a prokaryote? It's like a tiny, one-room studio apartment. Everything it needs to live is right there in one open space. No walls, no separate rooms. It's simple, it's compact, and it is incredibly effective at what it does.
And every single cell, no matter which blueprint it follows, comes with this same basic toolkit. You've got the plasma membrane, those are the walls of the apartment. You've got the cytoplasm, which is kind of like the jelly-like air and furniture filling the room. You have DNA, the master blueprint for everything. And you've got ribosomes, which are the little factories that read the DNA and build all the proteins.
But the key here is what's not in that prokaryotic studio. There's no separate office, no safe for the DNA blueprint. It just kind of hangs out in a central area we call the nucleoid. And there are no other internal rooms or specialized compartments at all. This super simple open-plan design is what you'll find in all bacteria and archaea.
Then, after about 1.5 billion years of just prokaryotes, evolution cooked up something totally new, a revolutionary upgrade, the eukaryotic cell. And this wasn't just slapping on a new coat of paint. This was a complete architectural redesign that would make all complex life, everything we can see, possible.
So what was the big idea? What was this revolutionary innovation? It was breathtakingly simple, but it changed everything. Compartments. Instead of that one open room, the eukaryotic cell built a bunch of specialized little rooms to get different jobs done.
We call these little compartments organelles, which literally means little organs. And that's the perfect way to think about it. Just like your body has a heart to pump blood and lungs to breathe, a eukaryotic cell has organelles that each have their own specific, vital job to do.
This just lays it all out, doesn't it? If the prokaryote is that simple studio apartment, the eukaryote is a sprawling mansion. It's got a super secure library for its DNA, that's the nucleus. It's got dedicated power plants, the mitochondria. It has factories, a waste disposal system, a postal service, the whole shebang. And this fancy mansion design is what makes up all plants, animals, and fungi. It's what makes up us.
So why bother building all these internal rooms? Why all the complexity? Well, because with complexity comes scale. And I mean way bigger scale. Eukaryotic cells are typically 10 to 100 times larger than prokaryotic cells. That's not a small jump. That's a massive difference. We're talking about the difference between a garden shed and a skyscraper.
Okay, now this chart really puts it into perspective. Just look at this scale. All the way over on the left, you can barely even see the bacterium. Now just follow with your eyes to the right, past the viruses, and boom, there they are, the animal and plant cells. They're absolute giants by comparison. It is not even a contest. And it's those compartments, those organelles, that allowed them to break through the size barrier that keeps prokaryotes so tiny.
See, here's the problem a simple cell runs into. As you get bigger, your insides, your volume, grow way faster than your skin, your surface area. Imagine trying to run a whole city, but everything and everyone has to go in and out through a single front door. It would grind to a halt, right? Organelles solve that. They create an internal highway system, a logistics network, that lets the cell work efficiently even when it's huge.
So let's bring this all back home. This ancient split between the simple little studio and the complex mansion, it's not just ancient history. It's happening all around us and inside us every single day. And here they are, the two blueprints, side by side. Just take a second and really look at the difference. On the left, you've got the prokaryote. It's so streamlined, so efficient, everything in one place. Then on the right, the eukaryote. It's like a bustling city of organelles. You can see the nucleus, the power plants, a whole world of complexity. Two completely different designs for how to be alive, and somehow, both are outrageously successful.
This quote just nails it, right? Form follows function. The simple form of the prokaryote is perfect for its function. Reproduce as fast as possible and adapt to anything. But the complex form of the eukaryote allows for a totally different function: specialization. And that ability for cells to specialize is what eventually let them team up and build big multicellular things. Like us.
So, if you're going to remember anything, remember this. All life is built from one of two designs. Period. Prokaryotes are the simple, small, no-nucleus originals. Eukaryotes are the complex, bigger upgrade with a nucleus and all those little organs. And it was that upgrade, that leap to complexity, that paved the way for every large creature you've ever seen.
And that kind of leaves us with one final mind-bending thought. Prokaryotes, with their simple design, have been wildly successful for billions of years. They still dominate the planet in sheer numbers. So why did life ever bother getting more complicated? Why even invent the eukaryote in the first place? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining me.